schematics on the test is because I was wondering with the schematics on the test, I don't I don't see any use for them because I've already done this kind of work before. But there are most of the new people don't understand why the schematics are in the test because most of the new people don't even use the schematics or work on radios.
But we
Kit
want them
building.
All right, I
to.
just got a notification that you're live again.
But we want them to work on the we want them to work on the schematics. We want them to work on radios, right? That's why they're there, right? I mean, that's just yeah, that's the reason, right? Is the hobby. And so honestly, this question would have been perfect last week because we talked about, is ham radio too hard? Like, do we make the test too hard? Is everything we do so complicated and technical? And are there reasons for it? Are there reasons why it should be hard and difficult? And that was kind of the topic of last week. But this question is good. The reality is that most people are not exposed to schematics. They're not exposed to electronics. So why do we make them look at it? Because we want them to know how to do them ideally. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
now I can't say I like forcing people to learn it via test, but at the same time, that's why they did it. That's why.
Yeah, and I had people on here 2 weeks ago telling me I needed to own an O-scope, and that ain't happening.
See, that's what I don't understand. Most of the people don't even really work on their own equipment anymore.
Well,
Most
but
of, and I mean, and I'm talking about, I know a couple of hams right here in the Indiana area that
mhm.
do not work on their equipment. They take it to someone.
But then the question really is like, well, how do we encourage them to want to work on stuff? How do we encourage them to want to learn how an O-scope works? How do we
I think
do
the way
that?
that things are being taught over the internet are kind of screwed up, in my opinion. Okay,
Oh, how so?
here, take it this way. All right, you've got that online course that you can study your questions, but yet they come up with the actual diagrams and nobody knows how to read them. You see what
Well,
I'm saying?
but you could
So
teach
if
people
you
how to
can't
read
read
them.
them, huh?
But you could teach people how to read them, right? So then the question isn't
Yeah,
the
because
the
you're not showing it online.
no, but I'm saying the way you could teach. So I have a platform that I could show people how to read a schematic. That's a live stream we could do. And in fact, I don't have an electrical background, but I can read a schematic. I know how to read a schematic. It's not that difficult, and you could teach someone to do it.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think that's I mean, I'm going from my experience of what I'm learning so far, and I've been going through the test questions. I see the schematics. Some of it I recognize, some of it I don't. I mean, hell,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 56 years old. I haven't taken a ham test since, I was 10 years old.
Hmm.
And at 10 years old was when I took it, and that's back in 1978, 79.
Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
So
but
what
wait,
I
wait. So
see,
are you proposing we don't have schematics on the test, or that we just get
no,
better at teaching people about them?
what I suggest is a better way of teaching the schematics, because even in your quest, the one website I was working on, which is, and it is not the actual AARL where you go to and learn the course from an instructor on the internet. I was using the stuff where you've got this volley of questions and you have guides to learn how to read stuff, but it doesn't show anything about reading the diagrams in the actual course.
Yeah,
Right.
because
So
you
how would you
so
how would you how would you teach someone to read a schematic better?
I myself, personally, I'd like to see somebody actually try to teach what the schematic is saying, because there's nothing being said about the schematic even in the test. Only you're pointing it to a figure,
And explain what it is
a
or tell
certain
what it is. Yeah.
component,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I don't know of many people that would know what that component is if they were to want to become a ham.
Well,
Right.
there's lots of YouTube videos on it.
I do want to
listen.
say great comment from N0URB. K8MRD turned me on to APRS. Good
Oh,
comment.
Mike's gonna love that.
Good comment.
Yeah.
And he sent that on APRS. I'm receiving APRS right now. If you send me a message to KI6NAZ, that could be another form of chat, Right now, we're doing chat over APRS. Right now, we're receiving. So I understand the
Network.
comment, but at the same time, like, really, we need people that are super smart about not APRS, but about this kind of stuff to give us a good way to teach people, right? So your comment, I think, is totally valid. You're making a good point, but it needs to be taught better. I agree with you. Let's just start from that point. The question is how.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying, because like
Mhm.
I said, on the ham study, by signal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it doesn't show anything when you're going through the study mode in order to study a diagram for a schematic for a radio.
Okay.
And I think someone somehow or showing some kind of way to study the diagram would be something that would be, I mean, if you're going to have people working on radios instead of taking them to a shop, well, we also have another problem with that. We can't get a hold of some of the transistors, resistors, diodes, and that kind of stuff around here.
Comment?
You have to, and I'm saying this from a rural experience, because my town is like a total of like 6,000 people.
Sure.
And I want to become a ham, but the problem is trying to study the diagrams, but yet trying to understand the parts of the diagrams they're trying to explain.
Sure. Let me take one moment to. We got another message. Roanoke, Virginia, which Roanoke, if you ever want a fun little, this is actually kind of a pseudo conspiracy theory hole that I like to fall into, is whatever happened to the original Roanoke, Virginia? That's a fun thing. But Mike,
but we
Mike, you
don't
had a
know.
comment. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, if the learning on the web is your only source of information, then yeah, that's right. But it's not. There are plenty of other publications that do, especially Gordon West's book.
Sure.
It's full of diagrams and descriptions on how to read a diagram and how that actually applies to the test. And I'm in England. I took the American test. Fortunately, I'm a technician, so I know what I'm looking at. But when I many years ago, when I took electronic engineering as a course, I had to start from scratch, which meant looking at source material. So you don't only have one basis on getting your source material. So the online test is one way of doing it, but also you should back that up with whatever other material you can find on the subject. And also the books do a better job of describing the syllabus that the questions are asked from.
There you go. Uh-oh.
Like I said, and no disrespect to anybody here. I understand why you're trying to get people to learn the diagrams of the ham radios. I've been sitting here and I've been a CBer for quite some time. I work on my own equipment as it is. I've got, I'm sitting here with an RCI 2980 sitting on my desk. D104, I know how to work on it all. But the problem I'm having is some of the diagrams that they show are not really clear in like the ham study test, which is an online, actual online.org, hamstudy.org tech 2022. And they
So
don't
if you
explain anything there.
if you don't like that, though, there are other avenues. I agree with Mike on this one. If you don't like that ham study doesn't go deep enough into the schematic information, then you can find other things that teach you that, right?
But yeah, at first I was trying to make the comment that I think that it should be more explainable somewhere else, but I've only one place I found they want money for, and that's the other problem.
There's YouTube
Jason?
videos that explain how to read a
Yeah.
schematic. They're outside of
Yeah.
ham radio YouTube, but they definitely can explain how to do that. There's multiple videos that it can explain it.
And didn't Jason just host a 3-day technician's course? that was taught live.
We don't talk
He
about that on
did.
this channel.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
We don't know that
That
guy, do
helps.
we?
We don't know that guy. I'm selling I'm selling the antennas he's selling today, but you know, hey. Any electrical engineer handbook, like 101, is going to have schematics in it. You're going to learn schematics. Just pick up, you could pick up. There are multiple avenues for this. This is away from the Muggles because they can't understand it, right? So we don't talk about it with the Muggles. So ham radio, there's so much of that like, yeah, the normies don't want to know about it or hear about it. But all of that information exists. You just have to have the wherewithal to go find it, and it's everywhere. You can get it if you wanted it. You can definitely find it. Print is probably many options going decades into the past. But I mean, there's tons of videos that now exist that can show you how to do it. We're talking specifically about schematics, not block diagrams. Block diagrams are abstracted concepts of radio, right? We've talked about abstraction before, but a schematic is literally like the ground lines are at the bottom, and then everything kind of goes up from there. Like, that's a thing. Did you know that? Like, that's a real thing. The battery, you know, if your circuit gets power from a battery, it's going to be multi-stacked horizontal lines of different lengths, a little bit wider, then shorter, wider, shorter, wider, shorter, that kind of thing. That's a battery.
Yeah,
Right? Did you know that? You
different
know,
types of resistors, diodes, and switches and components of that
right?
case.
But
Yes,
like,
I know. That's like working on a computer. But my point is that if you got, all right, for an example, this was actually put together, the hamstudy.org was put together by a bunch of hams. Okay.
mhm.
If you guys are wanting somebody to actually learn the diagrams, shouldn't you have study material within the technical class for the hamstudy.com or org?
Yeah, sure, but like, and with respect to your comment, I'm not taking anything away. I think you bring up a good comment, but having the structure of the way that Ham Study does it, it doesn't lend itself easily to like pop up a diagram and then explain all the bits about it. Like, he doesn't have videos that add to it. That little helpful tip, that dog-eared page, if you're doing the learning, that is like just text, right? It's not usually embedded with an image. I don't even know that he has the ability to embed an image right now. So yes, you're not wrong, but at the same time, that is what it is. And the reality is that even for an extra, you can't really expect to see more than what, like 4 schematic questions on the entirety of the test. Generally, maybe a maximum of 6. And that's if somebody like the VE picked all like the hardest questions possible. So even then, like, it's not that big a thing that even you could fail all the schematics tests and still pass the test without any issue. So I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, if you really want to learn some of this stuff, amateur radio is something that rewards you if you pursue the hobby in your own terms. If you want to learn schematics, you could. You can do that, and you'd have a rewarding time in doing it. And that's great. It's a lot of fun too.
And if I can just add, as an instructor,
Mhm.
I make some presumptions about what my students know when they walk into my classroom. And if they don't know that, it's on them to get the information that they're missing to catch up with the rest of the class.
Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry if it sounded like I was humming or dredging on something. I wasn't trying to. I was
No,
trying to
I
make
don't think
a
so.
point.
I don't think you were. I didn't take it that way. I think you brought up a good question, and at the end of the day, I think people do need to be responsible for their own learning, particularly what they think that their lacking parts may be, and then they make decisions on whether they want to deep dive it or not, and that's up to them.
And
Thank you
also
very much for the answer, though. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to find out more information as well as trying to get back into this stuff. So it's been a while. I'm a
Sure.
GMRS operator out here in Indiana as well. So if y'all ever hear WRUK 910, that's me.
Nice.
the license is a license to learn. So
Right.
but it's easy to say that when you've already done it. So
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
taking
This is
anything
true.
away from you.
This is definitely true. I agree with that comment right there.
All right. Yeah, I think it was a good comment. I'm not going after the person that asked it at all. I think that was a good thing to ask and go through. But yeah, exactly. So all right, anybody other any first timers again in the chat? People who've not been on one of these Discord live streams before that's joined us on the Discord that would like to say hi or ask a question. We'll take those now. Go ahead.
Good evening, good morning from the UK.
Hey, what's up? We got another UK ham in our midst. How you doing?
I'm all good. No questions to ask. Just thought I'd drop in and say hi. It's Van Dien 2E0GVS or M7GVS. We've chatted on the YouTube chat before, but I just dropped in the Discord because I couldn't get to sleep tonight.
Oh, well, thank you very much for joining us out here. Appreciate that. Oh, we got a weather station. I picked up a weather station on APRS.
Mm.
And
So
welcome to
the guy that was
panel
asking
there,
about the
Van Dien.
schematics there, there's a guy in the UK, a Glasgow ham. I put his call sign in the YouTube chat there, and he's got a free course for the intermediate, and the intermediate exam over here covers quite a bit of the schematic stuff. It's completely free. You just log in, you can pick the relevant modules and just do the training that you want on them.
I suspect there's some good materials that the RSGB produces.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean,
Right.
if you want a fantastic class that you could take, go become a supporter to Mr. Carlson's lab. Mr. Carlson's
Mhm.
lab has a fantastic YouTube channel, and he has a class that he has created that's available to his Patreon supporters that you could go take. And I bet you, if it was anybody that I'd like to learn electronics from, it's Mr. Carlson's lab. So anybody who's taken
Mhm.
that, if you're in the chat, we'd love to hear about it. But yeah, that's an option too.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Question.
All right, Josh here. So, let's say we have a storm passing by my overhouse, and I don't have I have ground at the antenna, but not inside the shack. What's the best way to put the cables away so nothing happens if we have a direct lightning strike? What's the
Um,
best way to protect lines?
unplug everything and get the connectors far away from stuff that could be destroyed by said connectors, right? So the long lofted comment is, oh, put it in a glass jar because it's an insulator. Well, the glass jar is going to explode. So you really just need to like get it away from stuff, right? That's just the reality of it. That's your best bet. And like how many feet? I don't know, because so the stories I've heard, and this is not me seeing it firsthand or being there for the aftermath, but it almost turns into a fire hose of electricity, which sounds really scary because it is. It's literally lightning that's coming through your coax potentially. So that needs to be, squared off and put away somewhere. You could even zip tie it to something and just like get it away, feet away, right? And that's probably gonna do better for you.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I have it coming through the window right now. The cords come through the window, and they connect to the back to my radio. So, should I just keep them in close to the window then?
Yeah.
So it's a way for
But
furniture
the
and
thing
stuff.
is, if you think about a fire hose, the fire hose mentality, it like if electricity, if you can imagine a lightning, if you will, one unit of lightning striking your antenna and then coming through the coax, it could very well have a kinetic movement to it. So yeah, like lash it to something, get it secured, if you will.
Comment?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I heard Mike with a low comment.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the thing is, you need a lightning arresters anyway, but also a good way to do it is if you say they come through the window, just as loose coaxes, would be to chuck them outside and
There you
be done
go.
with it.
Mhm.
But also put a short on the end of it, because if you can help it get to ground, it will be less bother.
Yeah, the thing I was going to suggest, because this is what I do, because all of my coax comes in through the window, but I use a window pass-through. And that is just literally a barrel connector that goes through a piece of wood. and you come up to the back of that piece of wood and screw in, and then on the other side you have a short piece of coax going to the radio. Then when you're ready to disconnect, you just simply disconnect it at the where it comes into the house, and drop it on the ground somewhere. Then it's not even in the house, because you really don't want the lightning to get anywhere inside the house.
Shout out to our friends in the North. Canadian Prepper Podcast says, "Hey, what's up? Good evening, all. Hey, man, appreciate you. Like your videos, and yeah, I'm closer to Canada than I've been in some time. I'm in San Francisco, so right on, man. Good to see you out there." And who was it? It was Trey Moon says, "Your insurance company will hate whatever you do." So yeah, I do like the idea of just get the coax outside, get it on the ground, but you're gonna have the same thing. Like you could actually start a fire that way if the coax is flip-flopping all over the place. I mean, I don't even know, at the window, right, where you said it connects, like you could drop the connection, put a rock on it or something like that, and just there you go. Now your coax could be totally cooked after all of this, right? The dielectric that separates the shield to the center pin could totally get cooked from all of that fun lightning going through it, but that's just the reality of it. My Pico APRS went to sleep.
All right, well, thanks for the answer. I'll definitely try that out.
And I have another comment.
Just a ending comment. What is more dangerous to your radio is actually static.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you're in an area where storms are prevalent, definitely look into somewhere static discharge and modules to get rid of that, because that's actually going to cause more problems than the actual lightning will.
Mike, can't you get static buildup on an antenna from dry air blowing across it enough?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. That's that, because I've blown a quite expensive rig expert hooking it up to something that I did not realize had static on it, and so yeah, and we have lightning storms here, but it's not like we also have an awful lot of dry air that blows over the antennas, and actually this is one of my Moxons that's up there, and I'm pretty sure that it was just pure wind.
Yeah, so that's another good point. Remember that a lightning arrestor. So if you thought of the best antenna station, let's say you had a freestanding mast outside, and you had an antenna on it. Coax comes down, and you've terminated that into a lightning arrestor with an appropriate ground rod setup or something like that. Excuse me. That lightning arrestor's primary function is to bleed off static, believe it or not. Hold on, I have to take a drink. So that in itself is one of the most important things that the static collection is to be able to discharge it, and those lightning arrestors do a pretty good job at that.
And to add on to that, what I would do is, say you have a 40-foot freestanding mast or whatever, run 50 feet of cable, that lightning arrestor in your ground, and then, X amount of feet back to the shack. So say it's 150 feet total back to the shack. Run 50 feet, lightning arrestor, and then 100-foot run a coax. And if you have a storm that comes by, and this is what I do, disconnect that 100 feet and move that away, and disconnect it from the radio and move that away. That way you have double protection, if you will. I mean, if a lightning strike's going to hit stuff, it's going to hit stuff no matter what. And Josh, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but your stream on YouTube went way down. It's at 144p right now, so everything is just blur.
Refresh it.
Oh, I have.
No, it's fine for me.
Yeah.
And I'm in Texas, not in California.
Yeah,
you're right next to Josh.
I'm max at 720, so I'm not pushing big data or anything like that. So you got something maybe on your side.
Not doing 4K.
No, I've never streamed on 4K. To have a 4K stream is crazy
8K?
Expensive. Oh my God!
Besides the fact, what's the point?
That's also
especially on a hotspot.
That's why everybody's watching the WAN show right now, because they're streaming at 4K because of freaking Linus with. I'm just kidding. Love you,
I'm
Linus.
surprised. Linus is up against the Final Fantasy 14 2023 live show or whatever they call it in Las Vegas right now. So there's thousands of people there, but there's thousands and thousands that are watching worldwide this live stream they're doing.
So, sorry, I didn't catch who the name was for the person that commented on the quality of the stream. You may have it on audio or auto, and it's very likely that the quality dipped for a minute and then came back up. So you may just have to take it out of auto and put it back on 720.
That was me, and yeah, I've hit refresh 3 times and it's finally come back up. So I don't know what
if you click the gear, if you click the gear on the lower right side of the player and you take it out of auto, that might help you too.
Mm-hmm.
I have that set to 360p no matter what. So because my internet's not that great up here. The internet in the Bay Area is not great.
It's on your end. See, I'm doing the best I can. I had to tape a hotspot to a window to make this work, but we're doing it. A regular interest said I should go to LTX and show off ham radio to all the tech YouTubers. So there's a number of people who went to LTX, and I can't say that I won't go in the future, but it was not on the list this year. I love Linus Tech Tips. I watch so many of their videos. I've loved them for a great long time, but it just wasn't in the works this year. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and
I have a GoBox question if
I'll take it, but Jason, hey Jason, what's up? By the way, we're on Twitter often with each other and Instagram. So would I collab? So he said was going to say, Josh, collab with Linus. Let me just say, just hypothetically, I am 100% on board with collabing with Linus anytime he wants. It's not up to me, Jason. It's up to Linus. I just don't get to, I can't just roll up to Canada and be like, hello, Linus, let's collab now. That doesn't work that way. He's the big dog, not me.
Besides, he's got a new CEO now. He stepped back.
Well, yeah, we've heard that. Yet he's on all the videos. But yes.
No, that was what he stepped back to do, was do the videos. He doesn't want to run the company anymore.
Sure.
He had
yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a stream on it, or not a stream, but a YouTube video where he explained it.
Yeah, man, so many good questions. All right, so Lee Harrell, we'll get to in a second. Also a question about my what I pack, like my backpack versus my clothing bag and all that stuff. Those are really good questions. But let's first go to the Discord. There was somebody who said they had a GoBox question. I love these kind of questions, so go for it.
Yeah, hi, that was me. I'm looking to put together a GoBox here. I haven't built one before, and I've seen your videos and some other ones. I'm hopefully going to try to cram a 7300 and an FTM 400 in a 4U case, which I think you were kind of leaning towards 4U here recently.
Yeah.
In your recent experience, do you have any ideas, new recommendations for somebody putting one of these together? Probably no tuner. A battery if I can, but not necessary, but also a couple of small speakers and a power buddy pole power mini.
So the big problem that you have with a GoBox is the depth of the case, how many U vertical space you have, and then what you want to cram into it. So
and how heavy do you want it to be to lift?
And yes, and it always comes down to weight, right? If I had to do it all over again, the thing that I would have in there for sure is like the Epic Power Gate from who makes it?
West Mountain Radio.
West Mountain Radio. The Epic Power Gate would go in there for sure because it allows you to switch between solar and battery and all the other things, right? So putting that in the box and then having the appropriate plugs exterior to the box means that you could just plug in a battery, plug in a solar panel, or plug in a power supply if you wanted to do that. My GoBox has a power supply in it, the power gate, and a battery, which is heavy. All of that together makes it a much heavier unit. But that means and it has a handle that I could just drag it out to wherever I want, put it on a table, and I'm done. I could give it an AC line, or I could give it solar. and it would charge the internal battery and allow me to run whatever. But that's not usually what people need in any situation. Usually people are going to have a battery that they'll just plug it into it and be done with it and run off that, or they're going to run off of battery and a solar, like if they're doing field day or something along those lines. So having the appropriate accessory connections into the box is probably going to be the best bet for you in most situations. And something like the Epic Power Gate will do that. So that's going to be my hot tip. So KC1 SDS, you made it on APRS. Congratulations, you did make it. Go ahead. What was that on Discord?
Sorry, I was just going to say, any thoughts on the Power Gate versus the Buddy Pull Power Mini? I was thinking Power Mini just because battery and solar is, I think, all I need out there, and not necessarily something to plug in, because I'm probably not going to have something to plug in.
Yeah, the advantage of the Power Gate.
Uses.
Yeah, they're very different uses. The advantage of the Power Gate is that when you are in a situation that you're feeding with AC power or like a continuous power option, you plug into the power supply connection. And then if for whatever reason that dies at some point, it'll switch over to battery seamlessly and just continue on running. That's why the Epic Power Gate is pretty cool. That, like, you could use this with your car, for instance. You could have an Epic Power Gate in your car, and if the constant DC voltage died out, it would switch over to a battery system if you had that connected, or solar or whatever. So that's one of the big reasons, is that you can just operate continuously and it just kind of does its thing in the background and just kind of works. The Power Mini is really cool, but like you don't want to necessarily bury that in a box, as it's got a screen on it that's showing you pertinent information about your solar setup and all that fun stuff, right? So yeah, they have two different uses from my point of view.
Got it. Yeah, thanks very much. Any last thoughts on the 4U versus 6U? You think you can do it in a 4U?
It really depends on what radio you want to put into it. If you want to try and cram a 7300 in there, that's going to limit some of your options. What are you thinking about using?
Yeah, 7300, FTM 400 next to it, and then finding some kind of pair of small speakers on top.
So that's going to be tough. Is the pair of speakers on top is going to be the problem. You can go, so just off the a 4U shelf just to hold the 7300 up that's the total box right there, right? My shelf that I have the 7300 on is a 4U shelf, and then there's a 1U on top of that has the speakers. So you will have to come up with some kind of solution to make the speakers work.
Do you have a 4U shelf?
Thanks very much.
I do. I have a 4U shelf.
Yeah, because mine is literally like doesn't even take up a U.
But if you think about the height of the 7300, that's almost 4U right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had a 4U box with a FTDX 10 in it, and I never put another radio beside it because that crams that so tightly. And then you do have the space in the back you can use for like powering things, but yeah. I would never put a power supply back there. I only put a PDU back there.
Yeah, so that 4U shelf has the 7300, the power supply, the Epic Power Gate, and the VHF UHF radio on it. So that's why it's overbuilt.
Yeah, the thing that's getting me is you're saying 4U, which is a height, not a width. So I don't get the. But how do you have a shelf that's that wide? 19 inches the width.
There's a company actually that makes one for the 7300 that holds the speaker right next to it. I think it's 3U. You might want to look into that. I forget the company.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
No, but okay, hear me out. When I say 4U, I'm talking about the vertical height in a rack.
Right.
Yes, I know. I'm an AV installer. I know racks.
Yeah, so, I do too, but I don't usually put shelves in there. They're that high. That take up any height at all. They're totally flat. They're only there to hold the thing that's 1 or 2U above it.
I'll reiterate, the 7300 alone already stands proud of 4U.
Right, but that's the thing you're putting on it, not the shelf. So I heard you say the shelf was 4U.
The shelf is 4U. It's 4U deep. It's a 4U deep shelf. The 7300 sits on the shelf and it's still taller than 4U when it's on the mounting bracket.
the depth is a completely different thing.
For you height, the height in the
No,
rack.
it's 3U height if you get a special mount for it, but I guess the way you
Right.
have it up, it's over 4U height. But there is a company that makes a mounting bracket for it that's 3U.
Okay,
Okay.
sure. Anyway, so the only reason why you go with a 1U, 2U, 3U, or 4U shelf is because you're putting a lot of weight on it. And I don't necessarily have the weight to justify 4U in the like spec, if you will, but that's what I went with just because it fit and everything worked and it was 4 and then
Mhm.
1 and I was good.
Sorry, who was asking the question originally?
I'm
That
not
was
on
me.
I'm not watching the Discord.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for all the thoughts.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm kind of I saw your videos, very helpful, and I was kind of also looking at the Shack in the Box website where they kind of have what seems to be a 4U case with a 1U upside down bracket across the top holding a couple speakers down, and
Mm.
it's very close. Yeah, it looks like you can do a few things snugly in a 4U.
Mhm.
You can also do kind of like a monkey's the wrong word, but a thing where you have like a shelf that's technically higher than the vertical space on the top of the box that's kind of obscured by the box because there's technically more head space at the top of any Go box than is the part you see. And often the speakers are low profile enough, particularly if you get those long oblique ones, those like long spread out oval shaped ones. And if you put those up in the top, like above the radio, even if you just like Velcro them on the top of the radio or something like that, then that's going to work fine too. It doesn't have to like you don't have to see the speakers if you catch my drift.
Oh, got it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Comment?
Let's see. Go ahead, comment.
Hey Josh, White here. Sorry I haven't been here in a while. I've been a little busy, but I do a lot of traveling for sports, so I end up sharing hotel rooms with a lot of people on my team. So
Yeah.
I missed the show, but a little trick I like to do is I take my HT, hook up my external mic, and then put a little earpiece in. That way it doesn't bug them because I've heard the phrase "Why turn the damn radio off? It's 2 in the morning" way too many times.
Yes. So definitely make sure that if you're sharing a room with people that you do the respectful thing and get some earbuds in or whatnot. Also, I can't imagine having a wake up call with an earbud in my hand with my ham radio with people getting on the repeater saying, "Okay, it's morning net time. Wake up," and be like, "Oh my god, I don't think I could do that."
That's all right, unless you're at a
There
radio
was
rally and you get woken up by a load of lions.
Yeah. Or you're a DXer and you're on the DX frequency and you, and you have a earbud in just so you could hear when they come live. Wakes you up like, I gotta go work DX right now. I don't know that I could do that. Let's see. So we got a question, and we're gonna come back to some other ones too. New user question: if you have a chance, I'm newly licensed and initially motivated to get involved in Aries. I have some questions about equipment, antenna, and software. So the big thing that and the Discord comment was longer, but the big thing about Aries is I highly recommend people don't buck the trend. So if your Aries group is recommending certain radios because that's what they work with, then that's what I would tell you to do is talk with your Aries coordinators and understand what they use. And it's best if you buy the equipment they use because guess what? They all know how to operate it. They likely have programming files for it. They likely have cables to be able to clone them, do whatever it is, and just to get you folded in without much muss or fuss. Sometimes that's going to mean that you're going to have to spend more money than you wanted to, but that's likely the better option to go in most cases. So all Baofeng. No, David, probably not all Baofeng. But funny. Very funny. All right, let's go back up. Let's see. So Lee Harrell, I'll take your question after this one, but you're on Discord, so be ready to answer. Let's see. Voice over Van Deen. Question: how big is your radio bag compared to your clothes, toiletries, etc. bag for this holiday? fantastic question. So I'll move. You might not have saw it. It was on the bed. It's still on the bed. I will show you my radio bag. And this is usually my camera bag and radio bag. And let's see. Yeah, is that? Yeah, hold on. I'll move the camera here. Switch the camera. There you go. So I almost entirely use Peak Design bags for everything I do, including ham radio and cameras and all that other stuff. It's designed for cameras, so they have this kind of modular divider system. So usually I shove a camera in there, but guess what? I'm packing light on cameras. My 705 bag slides in here. If the 705 is in there, it's pretty firm. GoPro's right here. That is a synthesizer. And this is a jacket that squeezes down. But in this top area, then I can jam in this bag with all my radials, coax, all that stuff. And then on the water bottle pockets, usually where I put a coil, like for the chameleon, all the chameleon parts can fit right in here, and usually a water bottle on the other side. That's my on-person carry-on bag. There's a sleeve in the back for my laptop. Peak Design, pretty much all the bags that Peak Design makes is what I use for cameras and radio. I have multiple of their backpacks. I really do really like their stuff, but it's very expensive. They're pretty expensive bags. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Lee Harrell says, I have a question.
Hey, Josh. How are you?
Yeah, good, man.
It's been a couple of years since we talked. If you'll remember, I invited you down to Austin to shoot machine guns.
I do remember, and man, howdy, I wish I'd been able to get back to Austin, but I haven't been out to go see the Modern Rogue guys in quite a while. I do have an email that we were talking back and forth, and it just didn't work out. So we'll maybe in the future.
Well, hopefully that'll happen. My question is this: we bought a little over 100 acres, about 2 hours west of Austin. So we're out in the middle of nowhere. And to give you an idea of the elevation out there, we're at 2,200 feet, while Austin is probably at 600 feet. So we're our property has one of the highest locations in the county that we're in Kerr County. We're going to build a barn dominium on the very top of the property. So we're talking about a 90 by 60 steel building, and that's going to become our permanent home. And I'm wondering, other than the obvious, I'm a big fan of KF7P's boxes. Mm-hmm. What should I think about with regard to construction as this barn dominium is being planned for a top-notch shack?
So make sure that you have, I'm assuming you're trying to put your shack at the top. Is that the idea?
Well, the barn dominium is going to be at the top of the shack. I mean, at the top of the barn dominium.
Well, I don't know. You tell me. Where's the shack?
Yeah, the barn dominium is going to be at the highest point on our property, and the shack will be inside. Yeah, it's inside of a steel building. So I'm in a big cage to begin with, but obviously I'm running, coax out using boxes with arresters, and probably putting up a tower eventually. So I'm just trying to think, is there anything I need to think about with regard to that construction?
Make sure you got a good grounding. I would argue good grounding is going to be paramount. So if you're going to be running power out to the complex, it might be a good idea to kind of try and bring the shack close to where the power distribution is going to be in the building, and then have your ground rods sunk in such a way that you won't have to slave off a bunch of ground rods and then bond them together. Keep them in close proximity so that you can directly run grounds from your shack directly to the ground of the power distribution, because your power company or whomever is going to probably drop rods, or you'll drop rods, and then they'll tie into that. That'll save you a bunch of headache of running stuff around. You could technically pre-run coax in the walls if you use good stuff like LMR 400, and then you can have an exterior coax panel that would have a copper base plate that could be, again, connected to that ground rod that we previously mentioned with your lightning arresters.
Have you seen those boxes?
I got one of those boxes. I use those
Yeah,
boxes.
I've got one on the
Yes.
side of my house now.
Yes.
They're freaking amazing.
Yeah, so exactly. Like, start thinking about that. Like, okay, so yeah, you got that exterior box. It's got the copper plate. You got all your lightning arresters on that. I would overbuild this. So if you know you've got 3 antennas, I'd build it for 5 or 6 antennas and just put the runs in there so they're preloaded. And then why not just run the coax into the shack? Have 2 dead lines that you're just not using right now. This is all stuff that, trust me, you'd rather it be done now than have to try and rerun all of it like after the fact, after everything's built up and you pile a bunch of crap in there. This is the perfect time.
Yeah, I overbuilt what I've got now. I still have 3 lines open. So yeah, I get that.
Okay. Let's see. So you got the power. So power is going to be a thing too. I would highly recommend that you have, if not an accessory box, maybe off of the main box into where the shack is. Make sure that you have at least 1 or 2 breakers devoted to just ham shack area, because the reality is you're definitely going to use more power than you think you need, and you probably want a 240 line that's brought into to your shack area so that you could just run an amp, right? Just go straight in, and an appropriate amp, like 30 amp line, something like that. That would be super, super awesome.
Yeah, I also like the idea of just being able to flip those breakers too. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then go ahead, Don.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, get the antennas way away from that metal building.
Sure. Yeah. So honestly, if you got, is this I don't know how they do in Austin. Is this on slab? Is this all on slab stuff, construction?
It will be on slab. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you got people coming out to do a pour, then it's probably going to be cheaper in the long run if you dig the pad for the antenna mount. If you did a 4x4 cube, dug that out, rebarred it up, and then when they did the pour, that they just also pumped in 4x4 concrete into that spot that you may put a tower in the future. You will eventually. Like, it's probably much cheaper just doing it all in one shot.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point.
But I still think you don't want that tower near the metal building, or where the antennas would hang over that metal building.
Yeah.
Unless you're going up even, like, I'm not even sure 100 feet would be far enough away.
No, I could push it out as far as I want. I've got hundreds of yards each way before my property ends. Yeah.
And be sure and put out some beverages.
Yeah.
One east-west and one north-south.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the shack itself, really, like, I don't know, I almost have to like stand in the space. Like, if you've thought about it, or you've got the dimensions for it, I would even lay down some measuring tape just to square the whole thing in my head. But like, visualize the space and then consider like how much shelving you need, what your work area is going to be like. Consider both an operating space and then like a technician space where you're going to like fix things and have your soldering irons and your test equipment and all that stuff. And then visually think about, well, I'm going to have maybe in your future you're going to have a spectrum analyzer, and you're going to have an oscilloscope, and all this, another power supply, and all this extra crap. Like, get that all in your head and then visualize how you'd like the shelving lined up, because that is seriously something that if I were to do this all over again, I would redo my shack. I'm even thinking about tearing everything out and like redoing all of it, because I don't really like my operating position. I think my technician space is okay, but it's not really big enough. Like, there's so many different ways I would go with that, and I would have way more shelves.
Yeah, I think you'll like this. I'm thinking about putting the shack inside of my safe room, which will hold, all of my firearms, and it's going to be a concrete wall and a concrete ceiling.
There you go. Yeah. So same concept. Like, you probably overbuilt. You probably overbuilt the safe that you've got, right, and the storage for that. So just overbuild your shack. But the thing is like, don't get into a situation where you build out a space and then you go, well, now I need to add 10% more, and then 10% more, and 10% more, and 10% more, like shelving and all that, because it starts looking kludgy. Like if you go in with an idea right off the top, you're gonna be much better off than
Well, we're overbuilding everything. Right
Good.
now,
Yeah.
it's 6,300 square feet under roof. It's nuts.
That's pretty big. Yeah.
Putting the coax into the safe, though, I mean, you're going to want to be able at some point, if you run into an issue, to pull that out and replace it. So think about that, because if you put it in a safe, you're going to want to put it in something where somebody can't knock their way in through that opening in the safe, right?
Yeah, you could put a charge there, right?
That's the type of people you're planning against, is people who are going to have shape charges to blast through your door.
I'm a planner.
Well, it is.
That makes sense.
It is Texas.
It is Texas. That is.
You've seen Mike and Frank.
Yeah, I don't think Frank's going to be blasting shape charges. I wouldn't say Mike wouldn't, though. I wouldn't say Mike wouldn't do that, though.
Well, you've seen what they do at the deer lease, so yeah.
I appreciate it. That's very helpful. I would not have thought of the additional power and its own breaker box.
Oh yeah, please add more power than you think you need. That's one thing you'll be kicking yourself after the fact, because running lines after you're already done is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and definitely do the 220. Maybe a couple of 220 lines.
Get yourself a good 220. I'm with Dawn. You may want 2, and get the right current.
Yeah, because you're with that kind of acreage, you actually have enough for 2 operating positions. So think about almost putting 2 complete HF stations up in there.
Why is this focus not pulling? Pull the focus. Come on. Pull it.
And always go one conduit size larger than you think you're going to need.
For sure. And then one last question: are you having Tech Prepper back on anytime soon?
Well, I mean, not anything we've talked about, but no, he'll be back on.
I just started watching him about a month ago, and it's a completely different way of looking at things, and it's really interesting.
I do like the Tech Prepper. I think he does some fun stuff. Wild Cascadia Radio. I don't know. Did it come through? Send it again. Give it another go. We'll see.
I have a question, Josh.
Go ahead, Don.
On APRS even.
Okay.
So is there a radio that will take a USB keyboard so you don't have to go through some kludgy way of typing the text in for a message?
I don't know of one other than going through a phone. No, I don't.
Oh God, why do people even? This is why I agree with Mike about hating APRS. It is so difficult to get a keyboard up to type something in while you're driving.
I am totally on. I totally recommend. Oh, why is my laptop not charging? What is going on here? Oh, my laptop's like dying right now. Oh my gosh, we might have to cut things short here shortly. I don't. The best experience with APRS is using a phone, to be honest. Most of the if you took any radio that has a screen this big, right? This big, you're not, there's no implementation of this. It's not going to feel kludgy. It's just not. There's just no way around that.
I don't even like to type on a phone. A tablet, but I just, if I'm on a tablet, I'll get up and go to a computer and use a keyboard. Like with Discord or any of that stuff, I'm going to be on the keyboard. The chatting I do in chat on YouTube, all of that is with a keyboard and mouse on a computer. I cannot stand doing something like that on a phone, because I feel like I'm back in the 1990s typing on one of those little Nokia things. No, I'm not going back to that.
My battery is slammed right now. I've got no, but I've got it plugged in, but it's not I'm drawing more than I'm gaining. Let me put it that way.
Wow.
That's not good. I'm literally using like a 120 watt wall plug too. I've got one of those really cool Anker setups. Let me see if I unplug some stuff, if that'll help.
Yeah.
What else is?
But you know, I've been doing
that may
those.
be why. That may be why. Hold on. Is
Sure.
that it? That might be it. I was on the wrong plug. I think we're.
Oops.
Are we good? Maybe. We'll see. Hopefully we can outlast.
Yeah,
I'm at 7% battery right now.
Well, I've been doing those 12 volt, mini computers, and I've got one that you can, put a PCI Express on the side of it, and you can hook SSD or SATA drives to it. So today I took it off of its charger and moved it onto my PDU, and immediately blew the fuse because the hard drives pulled more than the rated or more than the power that it normally says. So it says like, oh, this is 12 volts at 3 amps. So I hooked it to 5 amp, boom, blew it right out. So I'm running it now on a 40 amp and it's pulling about 7 watts, but that's because of the 2 SATA drives that I've got on it. So be careful if you're doing any of these 12 volt computers.
That is something to think about. Here you go. All right, so we got another message on APRS, but the focus is not pulling right. I think it might be too high. Hold on. Better.
There you go. That right there.
We'll see if that did it. I don't want to hold it. Yeah, there it is. All right. Move the stream to APRS from N0URB. So there you go.
Yeah. And I don't guess you've seen the Coffee and Ham radio show on that the guy was on and talked about the crappy fuses that are out on the market today.
Like the auto fuses, like the
the auto fuses.
Oh, we just went up a percent. So
you got it.
Okay, all right. I'm actually gonna talk about this. Is anybody a fan of Anker stuff?
It's hit and miss. It's hit and miss.
So let's pull them up really fast. And I do have a shout out because I have screwed. So for the longest time, this is what I've been using, the 65 water. This thing works pretty well, but I found that I was starving it when I was doing live streams, and then I had to I couldn't run. Like right now we're pretty. I know I'm at 720. This is not where I would want to be. Largely, I blame my window tape. Okay, come on. There you go. All right, so the second USB-C port is the one that's for laptops. Everything else doesn't charge as fast. So you gotta plug into that laptop one, and I didn't have my laptop plugged into it. Now I do, and it's actually it's out. My depletion of battery is less than the gain to battery. But yeah, it's $109 power box, and this is what I take to all the Hamfests. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, you don't run you don't just bring the brick that came with the laptop.
Well, because I need to charge like 8 things, right? I'm always charging something, whether it's more batteries or whatever. Anyway, so I'll drop the charger in the chat if anybody needs to charge.
I buy a
4
separate
things at the same
charger
time.
for that. Yeah, because I've literally had it's the same thing I'm finding with that 12 volt thing. If I hook up a couple of monitors to it through a docking station, and by the way, the docking station does not have USB-C power, but it has a USB-C connection. So you plug it in on the. I've got 2 USB-C connectors on my laptop.
Right.
If I plug in dual monitors to that docking station, it will not, like, even that 150 watt for some reason won't do it. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a Lenovo, but I don't know. But and it's running AMD, but I've had multiple issues with 2 monitors on it.
I just killed.
Oops.
I killed the whole station. The whole station's gone down. My clip has come loose. Everything's into the wind, guys. Hold on. I gotta reattach my antenna and rehoist it with my blackout drapes. All right, let's see if the radio survived. Pico APRS, I'll tell you what, it's not a... Uh-oh. Oh, I think she's dead, Jim. All right, we're going to have to go back to the 705. I think the battery's dead on this thing. At least I hope so. It did fall and then shut off, so... it could be dead. We'll see.
So now it's time for D-Star?
I don't know. Let's see if it plugs back in. When I plug it back in.
And I will tell you right now, that machine that you're on, Napa 440, you're not going to hit that from Union Square. If you hit that from Union Square, I'd be very surprised.
Oh no, yeah, no. This is just on scan right now. At least it was, but we'll turn scan back on just so that we can have some action going here. See if we catch. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. All right, we're out of the red. We're at 12. We're at 12%, so it was the wrong port. That's good.
Well, yeah, Wild Cascadia, I think, brings up a good point, or whoever that is, Frank. Jason is running that contest right now.
Yeah, Jason's doing something pretty cool. So if you signed up for his email list, which I have, Jason has got on a plane and gone somewhere. And he got off the plane and he stayed, and I think it started today, stayed in that location today, and he's been beaconing APRS. And if you go to where he's at and you're the first person there, he's going to give you an FT5DR. That's it, like straight up. Like it's a freaking cool idea. And I saw that email and I was like, oh, holy crap. And then I pulled up the video. The video has already 1,000 views and it's unlisted. So it's only people that are registered on his email list that got it. Very smart. That was pretty cool. I was like, that's good job on that one, Jason. So yeah, he's somewhere. He's outside Port. Oh, I know where he's going. I know where he's going. I think I know where he's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Yeah. So if family's home. Hold on, I'm gonna rotate camera here.
But if you have to go out to where he is to pick up that radio, that trip from here would cost more than the radio.
Well, if you are already out there, then yeah, that's going to be the
right. Which makes it kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, what I love is where he beaconed from. I can almost guarantee you he's going to have a great new video coming out soon.
Oh, here, go ahead and you're unboxing here. Are you doing an unboxing? Is that you got an axolotl plushie and a albino crocodile?
Yeah, his name's Claude.
Claude, the albino crocodile.
He is the famous alligator.
Oh, from the...
He's actually alive.
He's actually alive. He's actually alive.
The one at the California
thank you.
Academy of Science.
Thank you. I appreciate you dumbing it down for me. Thank you so much.
Oh, and then he bought himself a Pusheen Boba.
So Troy is giving up some of the secrets. He's transmitting under KC5 HWB-5.
Did you tell everybody about Ed Fong?
I did.
Fong story?
The Ed Fong story is amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm super excited about that. That's going to be really fun.
Accidental meeting.
So how long were you on the phone for?
Where's your range of?
The half of the bed. What are you trying to do?
I want to lay down.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna have to slide over a little bit. Leia doesn't want to be on camera. There you go. You can now get in the bed, Leia. Ben, you can.
Stop, people.
How's it going? How was today? What'd you do?
Well, did you notice this?
I noticed nothing. You got to get on camera here. Slide over. There you go. You get a shark's tooth. Nice. No, it's 30 minutes before the pool closes, man.
30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes before the pool closes.
I promise you, you're basically going to get in and out. You're not going to be happy.
Yeah, no, the after chat was great. This is way more effective than I thought it would be. I didn't think that the after chat would work, but this worked out great. So let's take another pass. Is there anybody here for the first time that would like to say hello or ask a question, so we make sure we get your questions answered?
So do you agree with Dr. Fong that you don't need a lightning arrestor on his J poles?
I don't know, because it just obliterates itself when it gets hit by lightning. I don't know.
No, it's the way he builds it. It's a dead short. It presents a dead short. So there is no way, according to him, there's no way for it to take lightning.
I would like to ask him about that, because I don't know that lightning cares.
He has been at our club meetings twice now, and he always brings that up.
Huh. I don't know. Because, like, lightning don't care. Lightning just going to do lightning things. What do you... Oh, my God.
I don't know.
Hold on. Okay, there we go.
I'm on you now.
You are sitting on me, yes. Ben is going with me next weekend to the camp out. He's very excited. He's going to poop in the woods, right, Ben? You're pooping it. You've committed to pooping in the woods?
Is Ben going to dig the latrine?
Adam and I said that we'd dig. We both have. So, by the way, funny backpacking thing. They make an aluminum trowel called the Deuce of Spades.
I seen that. Yeah.
Whoever came up with that name, you nailed it. That was a winner right there. Oh, Troy says cool shark tooth, Ben.
Thank you.
Edison, lower your volume. Did you guys eat? You did, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think here, hop out for a second, and then I'm going to wrap up. Thank you. Here, take the gummy bears. You can go. You may go. Let's see. Am I?
Some gummy strips, please, Mommy.
Yeah, you can sit there. That's cool. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up. I'm going to go hang out with the family because I am actually on vacation. So cheers, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Yeah.
Did we answer every question possible? Where am I at? Oh, that's a good time to remind everybody. Okay, so if you're watching this and you happen to be in the San Francisco area and you would like to come out to Angel Island tomorrow, I am going to activate the POTA there at get there around 10 a.m. is what the goal is, and I'm told it's a pretty decent place to set up a POTA. So if anybody wants to come out, you're welcome. It'll be some fun.
The ferry leaves at 8:30.
Well, there's multiple ferries, but we're aiming to get there around 10 a.m. So I am in Union Square, San Francisco. So if you all want to come on out for some POTA, and if you don't, well, then, maybe just turn your radios on around, I don't know, 10:30, 12, 11, somewhere around there. Or just put me in ham alert, KI6NAZ, and let's see if we can make a contact. I'm going to try and make a couple of CEW contacts. I may do FT8, but it's likely going to be mostly single sideband.
Oh, no SSTV.
No SSTV. No SSTV on this one. You got it like that. There you go. Well, yeah. Thank you for asking, Digital Dreamer. Digital Dreamer. I don't need Hawaii in the contact sense. I need Hawaii in the sense of me going out to Hawaii. I have not been to Hawaii since my honeymoon, and I miss Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I've been to the Big Island, Oahu multiple times, and Maui, and just you cannot. Anywhere there is a Zippies, that's where I want to be. That's all I got to say about that. So cheers to my friend.
Kauai?
What's that?
Did you go to Kauai?
I haven't been to Kauai, but I do. I'll go. Threaten me with a good time. I'll get out there. Seriously, anywhere there's a Zippies, that's where I want to be. I love Zippies. If you have not had Zippies before, that's my jam.
I just want to go do POTA in Hawaii.
Yeah, Eric's got that pretty well down. He does a lot of POTUS from out there, and a lot of people have worked him.
I've never been to Michigan, but I'm also down for Michigan. You want to go? You want to go to the Mitten or the? You want to be a Youper? You want to go up to the Youpers? Upper Peninsula's colder, that's for sure. Leia said she wants to go to Hawaii before she goes to Michigan. I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry.
And that definitely sounded like DMR.
It did. I don't know what the deal was with that because that's supposed to be. It's either D-Star or analog that shows up on this programming.
Could be D-Star.
We have no more chocolate.
By the way, a quick shout out to Evan for ruining his ears last night on the HRCC net.
I heard that was nuts.
Dude,
I felt bad that I was not on it. I tried to set up. No, put it over there. I'll eat in a second. I tried to get on, but then I had this whole antenna problem, so I wasn't able to do anything. So.
Yeah, Evan just does such a great job at running those nets.
He does. Evan definitely does a really good job as a net control. Actually, all of them do. All the other satellite nets. Yeah, everybody does a good job. You need to pour it in your hand, bud.
Mm-hmm.
We hit up a lot of snack locations, and one of them was in Chinatown. We got this Indonesian. Technically, it's like Indian, I think. The Madras mix. It's here. Put your hand out and then put it on the camera. So people can see it. Here, I'll show the camera.
This is too much.
I know. You're fine. Hold it up. It has like little ramen pieces and nuts and like curry leaves. It's really good. Just take it like 2 bites.
You ever had those sweet treats from Taiwan?
Sweet what?
Sweet treats from Taiwan.
What is that? What does that look like?
They're little squares of. They look like cake, but they don't taste like cake, and they don't feel like cake when you buy them. They just kind of they look like a cake on the inside, like a fluffy dough type of thing, but they have almost a chalky feel to them. But boy, do they taste good!
Is it rice based, like mochi kind of thing?
It could be, Josh. I can't read the package.
Oh.
Because there's a friend of mine that, I mean, he's from Taiwan and he goes there quite often because his dad's not, doing well and so forth. But and whenever he comes back and he sits right behind me, I've known him for years. He always brings these treats and hands them out to everybody, and they're just like, I look forward to them. Let's put it that way.
I love Asian snacks, so I'm down. Sorry, somebody's gonna say something. Go ahead.
You ever had the cuttlefish jerky?
Yes, I have had. We've had cuttlefish jerky.
Yeah.
Many times.
Have I had that?
Man, I had surgery once, and I was on pain medicine, and somehow I decided to order 3 pounds of it, and I had 3 pounds of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was great.
Are you
I
done?
ate it all.
Yeah.
All right. Stop.
Look at
I haven't had
this.
since.
Stop.
I need a speaker.
No.
Talk.
Sorry, my kid handed me back my my earbud. Let's see. There was Montana. So Montana is on the list of places I want to go like elk hunting. I like to fly fish. I'm going to be fly fishing with K6ARK next weekend, but that's going to be lake, not stream, because we're going to Heart Lake in the Sierras. At least that's the goal. If my knees will make it there. Ben's going to be joining us, so we're going to be fishing out there. It should be a lot of fun. Pineapple cake is freaking amazing. Pineapple cake is awesome. By the way, if you want a good like Taiwanese type treat, it's literally like a cube. It's like this big with like a dough outer and like a pineapple mush in the middle. It's so good.
That may be what I'm describing, or just not doing a good job.
No, I don't think what you're talking about sounds different than pineapple cake, but pineapple cake
could be. I know that he's brought some before. I know I've had it, but
all right. I think I'm good. I think we're going to wrap up. I appreciate you guys hanging through the lower quality stream and you getting through all that. But I think we answered a lot of questions. So I encourage you all to join us next week. We'll be live again, answering your ham radio questions. Again, ham radio is a technical hobby. It can be difficult for everyone. We all go through periods of where we're doing something new and it's outside our comfort area, but this is a place where we want to answer your questions like to the best of our abilities and make you feel welcome in the hobby, and that's why we do what we're doing. And that's all the people in this Discord, all the people out here, not just people asking questions, but like you've heard Dawn and you heard multiple other people that are out here to try and help everybody, and that's a big thing, and that's why our Discord exists. It's here to help people out. So maybe we'll have a reading the schematics live stream in the future. I think that's actually kind of fun. So I think we'll do that. Let me go through here really quick. Is there any? North Idaho is better. Shots fired from North Idaho to Montana there.
Where is K6UDA
at? He's in Idaho. So if you didn't know this, here's the secret. Every cop you've ever known, when they retire, they have to move to Idaho. That's where all the cops retire. that's the cop Valhalla is Idaho.
And firefighters.
That's right. That's right.
Chuck's
Pineapple cake for the win.
Yay!
Chuck's still in California, though, so.
That's true. Chuck, apparently they haven't got his hooks into Chuck yet, but he has to move to Idaho here shortly, I think. They're going to require it.
I don't know. Chuck seems like he's got a real good deal. I mean, after all, Chuck has a tower.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to tease Chuck about. Well, but Chuck, you've got a tower.
Yeah. Chuck's pretty set up where he's at. He's got all his toys. Yeah. He's got everything co-located. Chuck's not looking to move, but I'm telling you, so many cops retire to Idaho. It's not even funny. And the geekiest guy, come to Hawaii. I have a spot for you guys, 10 minutes from Volcano. There's so many volcanoes. Which volcano do you mean? You need to be more specific. I love Hawaii, though. When you say Hawaii, I assume you mean the Big Island, but all of them, I'm a big fan. I love it. When we go next to Hawaii, will probably be the Big Island, because Leia, when we honeymooned, we went to Oahu, which is like not, it's very touristy, but it's not like, there's not a lot of history there. It's a lot of shopping and all this other stuff, and Hawaii has like significantly more stuff that is of historical relevance. What?
You said something very ironic.
What?
You said so many cops retire there.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Then you laughed.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you for.
Thank you, Producer Ben.
Thank you, Producer Ben.
Josh, you running 5 to 10 watts tomorrow? Or are you going to have an amp or
no?
What are you running for?
I'll be lucky if I get 10 watts out. So that's what we'll be running with. If we're doing Morse code, it should be fine. I should be able to hit that up, no problem. And guess what, guys? I'm as bad at Morse code as you are. So take your time. I'll go slow. You go slow. We'll all go slow. We can do it. So get your keys up. We can make it happen.
Are we still in the middle of the solar flare, or?
I don't know. I'm here, so I'm gonna try.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, you should be able. I mean, that was the problem last night we had with the net, was the noise floor was so high because of the deal. We couldn't even hear the West Coast.
Well, yeah, I'm always under noise anyway on 40. We really, at some point, we got to talk about moving to a higher band for the net, I think.
We've tried it a few times, and then we end up going over each other because the bands will get, if the bands get good,
I see.
Then we don't hear each other.
Yeah, I can see that.
40 works really well because we can all hear each other. But we do have, and Josh, we need you, man. We need somebody on the West Coast with a big station.
The problem is I have noise. I just have a lot of noise on 40.
Yeah.
40 is like my worst band.
But for guys around you, I would hope that you could hear them, because the problem is we can't hear them. And like we've got guys in Arizona and stuff. There's a guy in Montana that's got a good station, but he doesn't hear the guys in Arizona and Southern California for some reason.
Hey,
so
Ben,
I think they've almost given up on us.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So Ben, come here. So Nathan is in the chat, K1MAZ, volunteer podcast coordinator. So there has been a proposal that has been brought up on the podcast that the only way that you can get a phone, Mommy and I have talked about this, we haven't fully committed to this yet, but we're working through this, is that you get your ham radio license first.
Okay, I can work with that.
So we'll see. We'll see. I don't
Smart
know.
thing to do.
Leia, are you okay with that or no? We'll talk. Huh? Okay. Leia says no. So more discussion needed, but you should. You should.
One of the requirements.
It's at least it's like a Boy Scout and merit badge. At least one of the requirements is you have to get your ham radio license.
I could probably get that by.
Don't talk about when you can. Just start working on it. There you go. Pull out the hamstudy.org. Make that happen. He is a great kid. So's Edison. Edison's a good kid too.
Oh my gosh, Edison.
Where's the bad one?
I mean, Ben's a great kid. He got up this morning, made everybody coffee.
He did. Edison woke up and made everybody coffee. Would you like to have a mic, Leia?
What a legend.
Not Edison, Ben.
Ben, sorry, Ben. Can you hand that to mommy? Test it. Oh, yeah, hand that to mommy.
Sup?
Okay. Leia's now on mic.
So Edison, we went to the Botanic Gardens, which is like very large, very meandering. And everybody was arguing on how we were going to get out of the Botanic Gardens. And Edison was like, no, you guys are going the wrong way. And of course, he's a kid, so nobody listened to him. And then we realized he was right. And then he guided us all the way back to the front.
How did you enter a hedge maze in San Francisco? What are you talking about?
The Botanic Garden is massive.
So you all got lost?
Not like lost, but the people who should have known how to get out did not know which path to take. And Edison straight up was like, we take this path and then we take this path. And there was like one where it was like a straight up U-turn. And we were like, Edison, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, because you're supposed to go this way and then go up this path.
Okay, let me just say, Leia and her entire family are directionally challenged. Like
it's genetic.
They don't know where they're going. Like if you ask where is north, they have no clue. No clue whatsoever.
If I can see the sun, I can tell you where north is. If I can see the sun and tell you what time of day it is, I can tell you what north
What are you
is.
talking about? If you see the sun, you know where north is.
If I know if
And
I
the time,
can see the sun and
and you know what
and I
time
know
it
that's
is.
what time it is, I can tell you where north is.
Okay.
Edison 100% got your sense of
When the
direction.
7-year-old is guiding you out of the forest.
He just remembered.
That's from me, thank you.
100% it is. Because he was like, oh, here's where the Suwudu is.
What is that? What are you talking? Is that
there was like
Dr. Seuss area that you were in?
It's the Pokemon Suwudu. It was like a tree that looked like Suwudu. I'm gonna show you a picture. Daddy misses out on so much, and then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a Gigantamax Voodoo, basically.
I have been to Volcanoes National Park. I love Volcanoes National Park. That's where we want to take the kids with the lava tubes, all that. Like, oh, so good, so much fun.
Okay, show Daddy this picture of you and Sue.
We're now passing. We're passing phones back and forth. I'll hold up on the stream. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, okay. That looks like a Pokemon. Okay, that is true. It does.
We saw a ton of Pokemon at the California Academy of Sciences too.
Like literally, they had.
No.
Okay.
That's awesome. What a legend.
I kind of want to.
That is awesome.
Hey Josh, my mom said if we want to go out, she will watch the kids.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up because they're gonna watch the kids, and we're gonna go out, my wife and I, and we deserve it. Everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, you do.
Enjoy. I hope you stuck around for the end here, but yeah, we're gonna go have some fun. Again, yeah, Angel Island tomorrow. At least if you're, I'm gonna have the chameleon. I may do a whisper test just so that I have the info because I'm actually curious to see. But I've got salt water helping me out, so hopefully even at 10 watts are going to be pretty good. And yeah, appreciate you guys. I really do. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really glad that this worked out as good as it did. But thanks for watching, okay?
All right.
And Josh, check your direct messages here. I sent you a recording of what we your side of
Lewis
my
and
conversation earlier.
I watched that. It was great. I actually used that video to get all synced up for Discord. So that came out perfect. Somebody else, I think it might have been Paul, sent me something. So I'm gonna go take a look at that too. I appreciate you.
Like
and
that backwards, right?
yeah, take it easy on the Discord. I'm gonna wrap things up. All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Have a good-
73.
All right.
Have a good time, Josh.
You guys enjoy
Thank you,
it.
everybody.
Good night.
All right, everybody on the YouTube side and everywhere else, we're wrapping things up. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. If you got the time, KI6NAZ, put that into your ham alert. If you haven't downloaded that, do that, and then add all your favorites. Add all your favorites to it. And then you'll know when we are on the air, and then you can make a contact.
Have a great evening.
Have a great evening. Thank you. All right, everybody. Enjoy the memes. I'll play you out. 73. Take it easy.
Bye. Bye. Yeah. Mommy says me and Netson are like Lewis in the park. So we got along.
Get one of you a Giardini air rifle, and you'll be all set.
Yeah. Wait, doesn't Lewis do that?
I don't know which Lewis or Clark had the Giardini rifle, but that gun, it was an air rifle, right? The canister was in the buttstock, and they would use a hand pump. It took like 1,300 pumps on it to fully pump that thing up, and then they could fire a magazine, right? It was a magazine of 13 50 caliber musket balls that they would fire out of that. They could kill a large